So today, thanks to a very good friend of the channel, Chris Donay, he has given me a couple of Airfix kits that were related to TV. So they're like in, licensed product. And on the bench today, we have this Shaun the Sheep Land Rover. And it comes with Shaun, Timmy, the Naughty Pigs, Bitzer and Land Rover. It's 8+. This model kit includes 13 paints, brushes and glue. And Airfix released these with the caveat that they would be seen with Shaun the Sheep. And they didn't sell very well, apparently, because they ended up in places like Home and Bargain and B&M to get rid of the stock. But if you go looking for these now on eBay, they seem to hold their value, roughly around the £30 to £50 mark. So if you've got one of these in your stash, then and you don't want to build it, it may be worth just whacking it on the bay to get some money for it. Again, edge of the box, you've got some box art there of the Land Rover. On the back, you have the brushes, you have the cement, and you have some paints. And to be fair with you, there's a lot of pieces involved. It's roughly around 150 pieces just by looking at that. It also comes with 4 flying hours, and it's a skill level 3. So be prepared. I don't know if it was an official Land Rover that's been produced already and they've just reboxed it with some figures, but that's something we have to find out. Wow, it comes with a lot of sprues, really. There's the Land Rover just there. Seems to be all in one piece. So it looks like, yeah, well, it looks like very little gluing, but it's not like your regular plastic. But we'll have a look at that in a bit. Another bag of sprues here. And again, as I said, the vinyl tyres. And it does come with some bars, which I assume are for the axles. And also just there, you've got the paint, but unfortunately, there's 2 missing. But the cement's there, and you get 3 sizes of brush. And so there, yeah. Quite a lot in this kit. And you also have a sealed bag for the instructions. But anyways, let's have a deep dive and see the parts inside. Right, first off is the body and the chassis of the Land Rover. It does have like a checker plate feel to the back, which, you know, clearly they've thought hard about this, which is actually very nice. And there's moulded hinges, which is interesting. The front, obviously, I presume this is the Mark 1, with the lights on the bonnet here, and you have your side light and indicator. On the back, again, you have indicator and you have your brake light moulded in. And then you have these 2 bits here, which I assume, or 2 holes, and there's some holes there, which I assume is for the bumpers. And underneath of the chassis, you do have some moulding on detail. Looks like you've got the gearbox there, part of the axle, the drive, and then you have the exhaust coming out the back. Very, very interesting. And it just looks like it slots together. It looks like you've got to go in from the front, at the points. And to be honest with you, it's not a bad fit. Very good. Onto this bag, and we shall open up here. And you can see that we seem to have a lot of plastic. So these parts which are blue look like they are from the Land Rover. You've got one of glass there, which I'll deal with in a minute. And it looks like these are the figures. Right then, get it in close. Obviously, you've got lots of parts here for the Land Rover. There you have the pedals there. I believe that's pedals. There's your steering wheel. These look like buttons. I'm assuming that is for the vents on the front of the Land Rover. These look like axle parts here. So that's where your rods will go in for your front. These must be lights. And you've got some tail lights there. But obviously you have quite a lot of parts here. And so, you know, I'm not too sure what the scale of the Land Rover is, but I will check it out online and see if I can find any information. Here we are, another Land Rover here. So there's your front grille. There's your doors, which does have detail of the handles on it. Looks like you've got some parts there for the engine. And you have, I presume these are for the interior of the doors. So you've got some door interior there as well. To be fair with you, it's very nice. I've just realised that there's no actual letters on the sprues. So you're going by numbers. I see there's a G36, 306. But actually, the numbers keep going up. So you've got 30, 46, 34. So it's not a case of finding the sprue. It's about finding the part amongst the sprues. So yeah. Right, so it looks like you've got the back panel there for the rear windows. Looks like you've got a bumper there. There's a roof. And I'm assuming, is that a dashboard? Or is that for the sides where the wheel arches are? I'm not too sure. But this plastic is very well polished. You know, I'm just wondering whether, you know, if the glue's going to be man enough to melt the plastic into this. But yeah, there is one window wiper or windscreen wiper on the part there. And then finally you have the no, so that must be the front window. I do apologise, that is the front window on this one. And this must be the rear. How silly of me. So that's the rear windscreen, and you have these big chunky chairs to go inside the Land Rover. And the wheels, I'm assuming, if I just take one of these out, I am assuming that the vinyl goes around. And then obviously you stretch around these parts as well, and then you will have the vinyl tyres. And actually, they've got some nice tread on these tyres, actually. And inside this bag, you get 4 of these vinyl tyres. And it looks like you've got these heads on them. So I presume they go in from the back, and then you push them in and lock them in. But I do wonder how they will attach. I suppose a little bit super glue in there. But there you are. Those are the tyres and the axles. See, I think that's for the back, and these are for the front. So I'm assuming that the wheels can turn if you so wish. Right, we have the characters now that are involved in Shaun the Sheep. And unfortunately, I know nothing. I'm assuming that body there is Shaun the Sheep. And I don't know who the rest is. I presume that's a dog, that's a pig. Shaun the Sheep wasn't, well, yeah. But look at it looks like plasticine, doesn't it? Because that's how it's made in the cartoon, or I should say, or the animation. But yeah, it just seems to, like, you know, you've got some quite big locating lugs there for it to be all shifted together. And there's little Shaun the Sheep. So presumably you have some eyes to fit in there as well. So, yep, so there you go. There's one part. Here you have more parts to the character. So you've got, I'm wondering if those are the snouts for the pig there. I need to see the instructions to see how this all goes together. But yes, more parts there. Looks like you've got some sort of hat there. But yeah. And then finally, you've got more. Is that Shaun the sheep? It looks like a sheep. And again, you have trotters, you have noses. And again, looks like you have ears. They're ears, actually. They're ears. So there you are. And some tails. So yeah, quite a lot. Right. And then we have the clear plastic, which is obviously lots of, I presume they're eyes. There's your, oh no, that's for the indicator and brake. So you got, you know, 4 in the front, 4 in the back. There's the window, the panels for the doors. And also for the curved, these are curved actually. That's quite a nice touch for the rear windows. There's rear. These are for the front, and there's your rear one there. And there's your headlamps. So yeah, a little bit of glass on there. I like this though, the way they've, I don't know what this is. I suppose this is to help with the injection of the plastic. But I've never seen that before on a sprue. Now we move into the instructions. So I get the knife. I want to actually go where the seal is, because I'm trying to seal this back up, because as I said, it's not my kit. This is going back to its owner. He's lent it to me to do a review. So the Airfix Club 2008, $14.99. We're paying double now. Yeah, 20 years on, we're paying double. There you are. Right, here we are, the instructions. So it's a bit glossy. Again, you are then looking at the call out there. So you've got the assembly phase, which is that there, assembly phase. Humble cement is where it's green. Crystal part is where it's clear. Metal part for M. Do not cement together, obviously. And then ×3 means repeat this operation. You see it 3 times, do it 3 times. 00 is the humble paint number. And then you got alternatives. So you got alternative on this one. Right, so obviously you're looking here, so you've got the dog there with his arms, you've got the sheep, and you've got the pigs. Brilliant. So it's Shaun, Timmy, the naughty pig. So that must be, is that Shaun, Timmy, Bitzer is the dog, and then you've got the pigs. Right, here we go. So basically you're putting together, first off, the Bitzer, the dog. Then you are starting on Timmy and I believe Shaun the sheep. And they do come with eyes. So there's 2 little dots with eyes. So look out for them, which you have to paint. Telling you here 24 plus 15. So you get that. Oh, which is a bit interesting. It's saying here that you've got 24 and 18. So you've got to get that pot of paint and mix it with 15 drops of that, I presume. That's a little bit confusing. 15 drops of the orange into that, then you mix it and you get the colour. Oh, okay. And there you are. It's all telling you here 33, 33, 22, 21. So 22 for the outside of the eyes, 21 for the black, 33 for the matte black. So yeah, it's telling you here the colours. And then once you've built up your pigs, you're then moving on to building the Land Rover. And I'm assuming that the wheels do turn then, going by us, because you're not supposed to glue this in. So in through, you've got some pegs there to go in. Those were hinges for the door. Those were the hinges. And then that all goes together, which is cool. You've got a choice. I did think there was a choice of dashboard. You have left-hand drive or right-hand drive. There's your vents and there's your doors for the vents. You got your glass and that all fits together. Your 2 seats then go in. It looks like they clip in and glue them in. Then you're producing the door, so you put the glass of the door in first, the panel. Then you put the interior on, glue that together. Then you do the back, then it's 1, 2, 3, 4 bits all together, and it's done. Oh, I see, that was the tailgate, and you've got the bracket there for the spare tyre. You also got a tow hitch, and there you are. So you paint these parts here, and then you fit the glass on top. So you paint 19 red, 18 for the orange, I think. Let's have a quick look. 18 gloss red, 18 orange gloss, 19 red gloss. So there you do that. Do that on the front as well. And then you put the tyres on, 4 of them, onto the rims. They all go together, and then it looks like you put the pin in that way, then force the tyres on. There's your there is your wing mirrors, and then you attach them, and you can also paint the handle yellow as well. So yeah. And then there's all your techniques in your painting, and you can make it look really dirty. But to be fair, it is what it is. It's like a cartoony style vision of this. 2008. They weren't released many times, but yeah, interesting indeed. I've just had a look at the box here, and it does say here that it was made in China. So this is a Chinese boxing, not an Indian boxing. So this must be like original Airfix, just as they were being bought by Hornby. Hornby bought them in 2006. And yeah, they've got into a little bit of nostalgia with this. And I don't think they still have the tooling. I think the tooling was created in China and is still there. But anyway, what are your thoughts on this kit? Let me know in the comments box below. And that's it. If you like the video, click like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Ring that bell. Click all to be notified when I release a new video. And a huge shout out goes to my channel members. Anyways, that's it. Quick unboxing. See you soon.